Welcome to our daily devotional. Today I want to talk about an old pilot named Tommy. Tommy died back in 1989 at 101 years old, and his story caught my heart and imagination back then. So he was born in 1888, first boy of 7 children. He had to grow up tough. He had 6 older sisters. He raced cars and raced yachts and flew in balloons. Then in 1910 he decided to teach himself how to fly. He walked away from several crashes and eventually became the 31st person in Great Britain to get his aviator's license. Tommy had some kind of grit and determination. When I started flying lessons, I only got as far as my learner's license and got distracted by other things. But anyways, they would tell us in class that any landing you walk away from is a good one. It requires persistence, perseverance, and practice to become qualified to fly. So too with life. There are many bumpy landings and even crashes that we go through. Now, crashes in the aviation industry are typically a result of the equipment failure, or most often, I think, pilot error. And pilot error is usually reflective of a lack of training or in practice, the discipline needed to keep one's skills up, or of distraction, a wandering focus, or perhaps a lack of physical preparation. Sometimes, too, we can get shot down by the enemy, or what is even known colloquially as friendly fire. God calls us to persevere in the life of faith. In Jeremiah 33:3, God calls us, "Follow me, and I will show you great and unsearchable things you do not know." God calls us to discover the things of faith in and for our lives. God is with us. God has a way for us to follow. Now, Tommy, the pilot who taught himself how to fly, was Tommy Sopwith, who began to design and improve planes based on his own experience and passion. These included the Sopwith Pup, Sopwith Snipe, and the Sopwith Camel that you might be familiar with. The Camel was a single-seat fighter that was used to shoot down more than 1,294 enemy planes in World War I, the most of any aircraft in the war. After the war was over, Tommy continued to learn and grow, and he partnered with his favorite test pilot, Harry Hawker, and a good friend, Fred Sigrist. The British Air Ministry, typically of governments even today, they couldn't settle on a procurement for a new breed of fighter planes in 1936, but he saw a need. So Tommy ordered his factories to put out 1,000 of them, even with no order from the government. It was an 8-gun monoplane, which was the Hurricane. In the grand and intense Battle of Britain in 1940, Hurricane pilots shot down more enemy aircraft than all the air and ground forces combined. Up to the 1960s even, Sopwith's team developed his favorite aircraft, the Harrier vertical takeoff fighter jet. Tommy spent his life learning and growing in his field, facing obstacles that came his way. On his 100th birthday, they were reminiscing with him, and they asked him about his early days of learning to fly. And he said, "Well, we had a lot of crashes in those days, but bless you, it was fun." We don't think of crashes and difficulties as fun, do we? But when you're focused on a larger goal, when you have something bigger that you're pursuing, when we crash, we get up, we keep going, we heal, we repair, we learn, we rebuild, we try again. Jesus, as recorded in the book of Revelation, gives these words to the church in Smyrna. To the angel of the church in Ephesus, Ephesus, not Smyrna, these are the words of him who holds the 7 stars in his right hand and walks among the 7 golden lampstands. I know your deeds, your hard work and perseverance. I know that you cannot tolerate wicked men, and that you have tested those who claim to be apostles of not, and have found them false. You have persevered and have endured hardships for my name, and have not grown weary. Matthew's gospel records Jesus saying this in Matthew 24. Because of the increase of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold, speaking of the end days. But the one who stands firm to the end will be saved, and this gospel of the kingdom will be preached to the whole world as a testimony to all nations. Then the end will come. Keeping in mind Tommy's memory of his early days and the reminder that Jesus is with us and has come to give us abundant life, I want to leave you today with the words of Isaiah 40. The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired and weary, and his understanding no one can fathom. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will knock and not be faint. Dear believer, God is not finished with you yet. Rise up, heal, rebuild, learn, fly. And bless you, it could be fun.